Chapter 8, Disaster in the Dining Room. I realized that there was nothing I could do for Bunnicula during the day, since he was sleeping, but that gave me time to plan my strategy. At first, I thought I would bring food to his cage, but then it occurred to me that Chester must be keeping everything away that is given to him. Pete and Toby usually left lettuce for Bunnicula during the day while he was sleeping, and Chester, ever watchful, probably nabbed it each evening just before the rabbit woke. No, there would have to be another way. I thought and thought all afternoon, and I could see that Chester had done a good job isolating Bunnicula from his food. There was no way I could think of to overcome Chester's game plan. As evening drew closer, and I grew more and more frantic, I stumbled into the dining room and saw the answer to the problem sitting before me on the table. It was a big bowl of salad. All I had to do was get Bunnicula to the salad and let him get his fill before the family came to eat. With that funny white dressing on it, they would never notice a few vegetables were white. I ran into the hallway to check the clock. 6:15. It would be 15 minutes before the sun went down and Bunnicula woke up. I would then need at least 5 minutes to get him from his cage to the table and feed him. All I had to do was make sure that no one came in the room until he had finished. I needed a good 20 minutes at least. I went back into the living room. Chester was asleep on the brown velvet chair, shedding in his sleep, still worn out from the previous night's activities. I checked upstairs. Toby was reading in his room the last chapter of Treasure Island, I noted. Pete, who should have been doing his homework, was listening to a record in his room. I ran down to the kitchen. "Hello, Harold," Mrs. Monroe said as I came through the door. "What's new?" "Other than a rabbit starving in the next room and an imminent attack on your salad bowl, nothing," I thought. I stood at her feet and panted. She scratched my head. This gave me a moment to check out how far she was in her cooking. "Sorry, Harold," she said. "I have to baste this chicken." I noted the oven timer still had 35 minutes to go. It'll be tight, I thought, but I can make it. Now, where is Mr. Monroe? I went to the front door and whimpered loudly. Mrs. Monroe followed me. "Are you waiting for Daddy, Harold? He'll be home soon." "Soon isn't good enough. How soon?" I whimpered again. "Patience, boys. He's late at a school meeting. He should be here any time." She went back to the kitchen, and I checked the clock. 6:25. It was getting dark, and Chester was still asleep. Time to swing into action. Having watched Chester undo the lock on Bunnicula's cage and having participated in the unfortunate steak episode some days earlier, I knew I would have no problem getting Bunnicula out. I just had to be a little more careful where I positioned my head so that I wouldn't find myself in the humiliating predicament of getting stuck a second time. My timing was perfect. With Bunnicula swinging peacefully from my teeth, I made my way stealthily, that's like super quietly, towards the dining room. As the last ray of sunlight gave way to the dark of night, once inside the dining room door, Bunnicula awakened to great bewilderment. It is not every day, after all, that one finds oneself, upon awakening, hanging from the jaws of a fellow creature, even so caring and gentle a creature as myself. Bunnicula opened his eyes wide and turned his face as best he could to me. I jumped up on the nearest chair and placed the rabbit safely on the table's edge. "Okay," I whispered, "there's your dinner. Go get it. Get your fill as fast as you can, you poor bunny." "I'll stand guard." I didn't know that Bunnicula fully understood what was going on, but the sight of the vegetables piled high at the center of the table sent him scurrying in that direction. He was hungry. Oh, I just love happy endings. I just bet this is going to be the end of the story. Everybody lives happily ever after. We'll see. Make your prediction for tomorrow.